Hey, good morning. This is a video in the Green Lives Matter section. This is a video on spices. In case you didn't know, I also am a spice dealer. I also sell essential oil, Young Living distributor. Let's start off with Exodus 30. The Lord spake unto Moses and said, Take also unto thee the principal spices of myrrh, 500 shekels, sweet cinnamon, half so much, even 250 shekels, and of sweet calamus, 250 shekels, and of cassia, 500 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, and an olive, a hin, and thou shalt make it an oil of holy ointment, an ointment compound after the art of the apothecary, and it shall be a holy anointing oil. Myrrh is actually in there 16 times, aloe 5 times, frankincense 17 times, cinnamon just 4. Revelation 18, the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, but no man buyeth their merchandise anymore, the merchandise of gold and silver, precious stones and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, all thine, wood, manner of ivory, manner vessels of most precious wood, brass, iron, marble, cinnamon, odors, ointments, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, beasts, sheep, horses, chariots, and slaves, and the souls of men, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all these things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand far off, for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. That's describing the fall of Babylon. Cinnamon's in there, Proverbs 7:17. I perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Cumin's in there 3 times, and you know what? We sell cumin oil, and it's like a really strong Indian spice, but it kind of smells like BO a little bit, and I am seriously thrown out of Motel 6 because I got essential oil cumin on their comforter, and my friend Cliff was with me, and he's Bantu, and it wasn't even his oil. They said they had to close the room down for 2 days because of that oil, but you need it if you stay in the hotel, you know? Anyway, cumin's in there. This is Isaiah 28. Give ye ear, hear my voice, hearken, and hear my speech. Does the plowman plow all day to sow? Does he open and break the clods of his ground? When he hath made plain the face thereof, does he not cast abroad the fitches, and scatter the cumin, and casts in the principal wheat, and the appointed barley, and the rye in their place? For his God does instruct him to discretion, and does teach him. For the fitches are not threshed with the threshing instrument, neither is a cartwheel turned about upon the cumin. The fitches are beaten out with a staff, and the cumin with a rod. The bread corn is bruised, because he will not ever be threshing it, nor break it with the wheel of his cart, nor bruise it with his horsemen. This also cometh forth from the Lord of hosts, which is wonderful in counsel, and excellent in working. Matthew 23:23, Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for ye pay the tithe of mint, anise, and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, which is judgment, mercy, and faith. These ye ought to have done, and not leave out the others. Song of Solomon talks about spikenard. While the king sitteth at his table, my spikenard sendeth forth his smell. SOS 4:13, thy plants are an orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, camphire and spikenard. Mark 14:3 talks about Jesus sitting in the house of Simon the leper, and the woman having that alabaster box of ointment of spikenard. John, I think 12:3 is the same story. Mary took a pound of the ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus, wiped her feet with her hair. House was filled with the odor of the ointment. Chief spices in there, Song of Solomon's 4:14, spikenard and saffron. calamus, and cinnamon, with all the trees of frankincense, myrrh, and aloe, and all the chief spices. When baby Jesus was born, we know the wise men brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That's Matthew 2:11. They came into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. He was worshipped as a baby. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented to him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Mountain of myrrh is in there, Song of Solomon 4:6. Until the daybreak and the shadows flee away, I will get me to the mountains of myrrh and the hill of frankincense. Exodus 30, the Lord said to Moses, take unto thee sweet spices, stocne, oncha, galbum, these sweet spices with pure frankincense. Each shall be a like weight. Leviticus 2. Hold on 1 second here. We actually have internet service on this tablet today, so that's great. When anybody offers a meat offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it and put frankincense thereon. Levi 24, the bread for the tabernacle, thou shalt take fine flour, bake 12 loaves from it. 2/10 of an ephah shall be in each loaf, and you shall set them in 2 piles, 6 in a pile, and on the table of pure gold before the Lord. And ye shall put pure frankincense on each pile, that it may go with the bread as a memorial portion, as a food offering to the Lord. Numbers 15, it says, do not use frankincense when you're using an offering of jealousy. 1 Chronicles 9:29, some of them were appointed to oversee the vessels and of all the instruments of the sanctuary, fine flour, wine, oil, frankincense, and the spices. Nehemiah 13, Eliashib the priest, who was appointed over the chambers of the house of our God, and who was related to Tobiah, prepared for Tobiah a large chamber where they had previously put the grain offerings and the frankincense, the vessels, the tithes of grain, wine, and oil, which were given by the commandment of the Levite singers and the gatekeepers, and the contributions for the priests. And while this was taking place, I was not in Jerusalem, for in the 32nd year of Artaxerxes, the king of Babylon, I went to the king, and after some time I asked leave of the king and came to Jerusalem, and then I discovered the evil that Eliashib had done for Tobiah, preparing for him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. And I was angry, and I threw all the household furniture of Tobiah out of the chamber, and I gave orders, and they cleansed the chambers. And I brought back there the vessels of the house of God with the grain offerings and the frankincense. Leviticus 5, you should also do not use frankincense when it's a sin offering. That's if you hear a public accusation to testify, and if you're a witness, whether he has come forth or not. And if you can't do that, you're supposed to bring the turtle doves, and if you can't do the turtle doves, then you have to bring, if you cannot afford 2 turtle doves and 2 pigeons, then he shall bring his offering for the sin that he has committed, 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering, and he shall put no oil on it, and shall put no frankincense offering on it, for it's a sin offering. It's SOS has frankincense quite a few times. Who is it that cometh out of the wilderness like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, and all the powders of the merchants? Canticle 4, until the daybreak and the shadows flee away, I will get me to the mountain of myrrh, spikenard, saffron, calamus, cinnamon, and all the trees of frankincense. Sirach 24:15, I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon and aphalathis, and I yielded a pleasant odor like the best myrrh, as galbanum and onyx and sweet stonyx, and the fume of frankincense in the tabernacle. Sirach 39:14, and give ye a sweet savor as frankincense, and flourish as the lily. Send forth a smell. Sing a song of praise. Bless the Lord in all his works. Sirach 50, the flowers of roses in the spring of the year, as lilies by the rivers of water, as the branches of the frankincense tree in the time of summer. 2 Chronicles 9:9, she gave the king 120 talents of gold and spices of great abundance and precious stones, and neither was there any such spice as the queen of Sheba gave to Solomon. And I think there is just one more. It's Exodus 30, the Lord spake unto Moses, take unto thee the principal spices, pure myrrh, 500 shekels, sweet cinnamon, half as much, 250 shekels, sweet calamus, 250 shekels, and of cassia, 500 shekels, shekel of the sanctuary. Make that holy anointment oil, and thou shalt anoint the tabernacle of the congregation therewith, and the ark of the testimony, and the table and his vessels, and the candlestick and the vessels, and the altar of incense, and the altar of the burnt offering with all his vessels, and the laver and his foot, and thou shalt sanctify them, that they may be most holy, and whoever touches them shall be holy. And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons, and consecrate them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, this is a holy anointing oil to me throughout all your generations. Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured, neither shall you make any other like it after the composition of it. It's holy, and it shall be holy to you. And whosoever compoundeth anything like it, or whosoever putteth any of it upon a stranger, shall be cut off from his people. And the Lord said to Moses, take unto these sweet spices, stochnate, ocna, galbanum, these sweet spices with a pure frankincense, of each there shall be a like weight, and thou shalt make a perfume. Thou shalt make perfume. There it is, Exodus 30:35. A confection after the art of the apothecary, tempered together, pure and holy, and beat some of it very small, put it before the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, where I will meet with thee, and it shall be unto you most holy. And as for the perfume which thou shalt make, ye shall not make to yourselves according to the composition thereof, it shall be unto thee holy for the Lord. And whoever shall make like unto that, to the smell thereof, shall be cut off from his people.